What's happening, YouTube land, guys, gals, and everybody in between that's checking out our videos? We appreciate y'all. We're trying to bring some more content. Not always going to be about trucks. As you can see, it's time for some maintenance on the BMW. Hadn't showed a lot on this. This is a 22, same year model as the Ram. We got this thing brand new. It's the X3 S Drive 30i. Yeah, it's got the turbos and all that good stuff. Anyway, we have already put rotors on this thing, and had 0 miles. We got about 80 something thousand on it right now. Drive it a lot, as you can tell. Had to put rotors on it at about probably 30,000 mile mark, and the sensors are coming on now saying that the brake pads need to be changed. So we got oil change to do, we got brake pads front and back we got to do, and we need to do tires. So we're putting 2 tires on tomorrow on the front. The back still got a pretty good bit of life in it. This thing came from the factory and it's got a little bit of a toe issue, so it's eating on the outer edge just a little bit. Don't know why, but it's not enough to hurt anything. The tires have 50,000 miles on them, because again, we had run flats on this when we first bought it. So went with a Goodyear Eagle Sport. It's a pretty good tire. We ain't had no issues with it. Does good in traction, wet, wet. We don't have any snow here, but the rain and dry conditions, of course, it does real well in it. Cornering's okay. As you know, we probably have tested the turbo out on this little joker a couple of times, but can't tell anybody. Mom wouldn't like that, right? That's anyway, right. We're gonna jack this thing up. We're gonna try to get these back wheels off. The scan tools that we have 2 or 3 different kinds. Nothing will get into the BMW firmware to cut the emergency or the parking brake off, and it's only on the back 2 calipers that even works anyway. The front don't have it. So easy way around that is these torque bits, and of course I misplaced the ones I had. They're somewhere around here. I mean, we got to get a box better organizational set up for tools, and that's coming up. So I went down to Napa and picked up a T45. From what I've researched, I've done this on an older vehicle, but not the new one. The back side of this caliper, where the parking brake hooks in, it's going to have a cover. We can take that cover off, and we'll get to that when we start getting in a little deeper. And this is supposed to fit it, and we made sure inside the vehicle that the parking brake was off and wasn't activated inside. It only back it out so far. So this is supposed to be, you can back them out manually with a ratchet. So we'll show you how to do that. And if you got a scan tool, you can go in and disable it, so it backs it all the way out. But again, those scan tools, I mean, there's various brands that do different things. So we're gonna probably look at trying to get something in the near future that a little bit step up what we got. Those things can, I looked at one today at Napa, $3 grand. A buddy of mine tried to sell me. So I'm not doing that kind of work right now. So if you guys start subscribing a little bit, sharing these videos, viewing them, we thank you for the people that have subscribed, but give them to your friends. I mean, it's free, so that we can buy and purchase things like that. We can show you guys some tricks and tips to do, little shortcuts here and there with those scan tools. It'd be nice, but we're working with what we got, so we'll get there one day. And we appreciate you guys for pushing the guy behind the camera over that 1,000 mark. Like I say, we're gonna try to get something together in the near future to do some giveaways, maybe a t-shirt, hoodie, or something like that. So working on a website, so that'll be up soon. We're gonna put some merch out there for you, and we're gonna try to get this thing a little bit bigger than what it is. Hopefully in 2025 we either have a shop built, or we're going to finish this carport completely, and a lot of good things to come with that once we get to that point. Just in the elements, it kind of sucks. I mean, you know, trying to paint, trying to do body work, just like the windshield on the old 63, we're gonna pull it out. There's a lot of things we could do that we can't really right now because of the weather, and we have to keep up with what it's doing outside. So, and it's in the 30s here now, so you got to be mindful of that. But anyway, back to what we're doing. We're going to jack this thing up. For anybody that don't know, you can check out Google, you know, and find out where the jack points are on this. But on this particular model, in the rear, there's an aluminum plate under the rear end of this vehicle, which is going to be our lift point for the rear. So we're going to jack there, and then when we get to the front, I'll show you where that's at too. But we're going to set the jack up and get everything ready, and hopefully everything goes good. So y'all stay with us. I may put you on a little bitty time lapse to save you from the headache, but y'all stay with us. We appreciate you. All right, so we got, you can zip tie this up, or you can get a can or whatever. I just got a little paint can to set the caliper on to keep the tension off the lines. I don't like to pull on those, especially this car, because it's got so many digitals. You just don't want to get into that. So anyway, everything on these imports are torqued. I think some Chevrolets are doing this now, but they're trying to keep the average Joe from working on stuff. But anyway, you know how it is. My little thing I've always done, and I mean, I've seen torques on cars back from like 95, 97. I had some Trans Am parts, just general stuff. I mean, I know Chevrolet has had some, but you can take just a regular old 13 millimeter, fits tight. You can also take a 13 millimeter and the 12 point fits tight. I prefer to use the 12 point on these if I'm going to do this instead of the traditional 13. It fits a little tighter than the standard, but this is your caliper bolts. I mean, you can do this with any bolt. Just take your socket, stick on there, and of course you don't want to round them off or anything, so make sure you got them on real good and give them a little bump. They usually come off. I mean, they're not torched too much on this. And I know a lot of guys are gonna be like, oh, you didn't torque the specs and all this. Dudes, I've been changing brakes for like, I don't even know, since I was like 12. And I've never had one come apart. Never had one back off. I just put a equal amount of pressure back on to what I took off. So, I mean, I kind of know what I had to use on force-wise to get it off. That's pretty much what I put back on. Never had no issues. So, for the guys out there that wants to criticize over torque specs, hey, y'all torque, get you one, find the schematic or the specs, and you know, go down that rabbit hole. But for me, this is good enough for who it's for. And you know, I'm not running 200 mile an hour down the road. So anyway, all right, moving on. So we got the caliper off. We're gonna put you back on a time lapse in just a second, but we're gonna disconnect. And there's a bracket that holds this clip on right here. Actually, we're taking it. Basically, what we're going to do, I'll speed it up in a minute. We're going to disconnect this. We're going to take this off here where it's in there, just holding it. And basically, we want to get down to the point where we're taking these Allen bolts out of this bracket that's covering this cover. This is your electronic park brake. So underneath this is going to be where that torque. Actually, I'm gonna have to get to it on top, but anyway, we're gonna get this all stripped down so we can get that 45 in there. We're gonna back this thing all the way out. So y'all stay with us. We're gonna put you on a time lapse. We're gonna get it. All right, one thing I forgot to mention, you know, these brakes come with the wear sensors. We had a couple of Mercedes we've had in the past, and they're super easy to do. They actually got the Indy style set up, so your caliper sitting with your pins, and the pins go through the top sides of the brake pads. I mean, you just pull the pin out, swap pads out, Bob is your uncle. So anyway, this deal has got the sensors just like it did, and this goes in the brake pads, and we'll show you guys. It just basically just slides in to this little spot right here. That's what that cutout's for. It'll go down in like a horseshoe, and once this pad gets wore down so far, and when I get these out I'll show you, but it starts eating that sensor, and thus, as everybody in the educated world says, causes the dash light to illuminate and drive you nuts. Especially on this car. It's like, hey, brakes need changing. Hey, brake needs changing, but continue to drive. So anyway, I mean, give them a look at that. As you can see, I don't have a caliper to put on it right here, but this thing's been hollering for about 3 months now. It needs brake pads. And so anyway, this is what we're working with, and as you can see, we still got, in my opinion, plenty of meat to get us by past Christmas into the new year. But Merry Christmas to the BMW and the person who owns it. My beloved wife, I'm taking care of. So anyway, she's the backbone to this deal, and if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. So, and you guys too, we wouldn't have any content to give you. But anyway, we're going to take these out, and I just wanted to give you guys a rundown. Back to the connector where it hooks in, it goes up. You just fish it through here. I mean, if you'll follow the line, it goes up to this little junction box. I don't know if you can see that or not, but you just pop it. It's got a some little clips. You just pop it open. It's gonna be full of crap, but you just fish it up here, and this lucky one goes down to our brake that we're working on. So you're gonna hook it and just follow it down to the brake pad. So when you take all this stuff off, the new one's gonna go right back in the same place. So we'll hook it back up right where this goes. But just wanted to kind of cut in for a moment, just give you guys a little heads up where that was it. In case you don't know, if you're doing this, you probably do know, but just gonna give you my tips and tricks that I got. I'm sure everybody else has some too, and that's why I always watch YouTube and I subscribe, because this is what makes it. This community of knowledge, in my opinion, saves thousands and thousands of dollars. So, you know, if you can do it yourself, you're mechanically inclined, why not? Just sometimes you need a little push, a little step to show you what to do. So, all right, we'll put you back on time lapse, and we're supposed to get with it. Alright, so I went on a wild goose hunt for some Allen wrenches, and over the years we've had to modify, cut up, whatever. I don't know where they went. It's like that 10s, they grow legs. But one of my great Christmas presents is only a few days away. The guy behind the camera and the missus in conjunction, they mainly the guy behind the camera felt sorry for me, and he was like, hey guy, got you a Christmas present, you need to do it now. So we're finna to break this bad boy in. It's a Husky 270 piece. So I'm seeing it first time as you seeing it. We're hunting, oh, there they are, brand new Allen wrenches. Check them out. So we're gonna have a wrenching good time. We have metric, we have standard. So I want you to tell me I can't find you now. What? Look at all the sockets, brand new ratchets. And the Huskies are good, guys, because I've been putting the one I have, put that one through the ringer. Check that out. That is nice. So hey, this is an early Christmas present, and that makes this job even much better. So I thank you, son.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
No problem, buddy.
The camera guy felt sorry for me, guys. So see, all you guys out there, hopefully y'all got sons that care about you, busting your hands and knuckles and no telling what with blood pressure. So everybody's like, oh, you need to get your blood pressure checked. Well, not right now. But hey, feeling good now. I got some tools to work with. And I mean, guys, looking at my junk, my garbage over here, this stuff is old as like, I started getting tool sets when I was like 14. So it's just a year, you know, through the years I've collected them, I lost them. And the guy behind the camera growing up, taking all of his tractors and toys apart. So, you know, he found my tools early on, and you know, I can't fuss at him. So he was doing something productive. A lot of guys get mad because they can't find their tools, but I go in and there's a remote control truck and 50,000 pieces. Neither one of us know how to put it back together, but you know, it was that learning experience of taking it apart. So it's always a good day. So anyway, back to my job that we were doing. And I appreciate that early present, guy.
Oh yeah.
I forgot to tell you guys, or I may have told you, it does have Allen bolts on the top there, and it being that BMW wanted to, I keep hearing this thing creak, you know, and I kind of don't feel real good about it, but hey, look at that. First guess.
It's money right there.
5. Mm-hmm. So, for the internet world, T45 should be your top to back that brake out, and then you got your 5 metric Allen wrench that takes that out. So I sure appreciate you, man, because we was gonna have to go back to town, and I know the guys or the people watching didn't want to see that. So now we can actually act like we knew what we're doing, right?
That's right.
See, it's always when you need the stuff that you don't have, but anyway, we're gonna make it work because that's what we do. We have to improvise. Alright, y'all, so I forgot to show you this part first. Probably should have done this to begin with, but the brake fluid is under this nifty little cover that sits up here. But what we done is just shoved all that brake fluid back up in this reservoir, and we're not going to bleed it because we didn't get any air introduced into the system. So but basically when you're backing this up, you just don't want to push it back out the top. But we're just gonna keep that cap just sitting there like that. But we're back up full again when we get done. This thing should automatically, once you put the new sensor on, it's gonna cycle a couple times, but you'll see the reset up on the dash supposedly. If it don't, then we'll have to go in and try to reset the brake. But as far as I know, it resets itself. Even with the parking deal, on the torque, when I backed it out, that thing's got an electronic motor. Again, it sits down as a torque, and we'll show you guys real quick. Now that we got that out, kind of walk you through. But basically, you have a connector that goes here. This is your electronic brake. Connector goes here, and it has a torque stud sticking out, which fits down in top of the caliper. So that's your 45. And as this thing puts the parking brake on, it sets this brake, it gives a signal, and this turns out until the brake compresses back here. So what we done, we took that off, and basically the top of this caliper, you can see that at 45 right there, you just take that, and you can actually turn it by hand, but you can check and see which way you're going. You want to do this before you compress the piston. But you basically just stick it in there and you keep turning, and you'll feel this it'll go in or out. It actually pushes the caliper piston in or out. You want to make sure you're going back, so you just go all the way back till it won't go any further, and then you can put your tool on. This should not be any force to it when you put it on here. And I wasn't thinking a while ago, I should have took the some of these you can get to without taking these off. But you can fish that tool under there, but this one you can't, so we just went ahead and took it off. But it's best to go ahead and take it off while it's on the caliper, or still on the wheel mounted. It's a lot easier to get some some leverage on it. But anyway, we made it work. But you back it out all the way like this. We didn't lose any fluid. We didn't crack any lines open. The fluid looks good. And if you're flushing it, that's one thing you're probably going to have to get a scan tool to do all that, because once you empty it, it sends this thing into orbit and all kinds of lights and break this, and I don't even know the rest of it. But we're not going down that rabbit hole. We usually don't keep a car, but you know, maybe 4 or 5 years at the most, just because of the mileage due to her work. So we're probably going to end up trading this, you know, in the next few years, couple years. If we can get a couple more years out of it, it'll probably be gone before the next brake change anyway. So it's like I say, it's like a 80, I don't know, we're probably close to 90,000 miles in 2 years time. So probably run at 130 maybe. We're probably going to, you know, call it, just go ahead and trade it, get something else, because I want to keep the missus on the road, keep her safe, keep her in something decent, because the work she does, we need to make sure she's taken care of with tires and brakes and just a good vehicle. Me, not so much, you know, I can bump around whatever. But all right, so we're gonna get back at it. Just want to give you that quick little look at up there. You kind of eyeball it, make sure that that's right. So now we can go ahead and get our new pads. Oh, by the way, speaking of pads, you want to make sure, and I thought it didn't make a difference, so that's on me. But you know, this is what the channel's about. We're showing you guys, you know, like what we learned, what we don't know, or what we, you know, in this case, painted brake calipers. This has an M package on it. It's not the M X3, but it does have an M package. So it doesn't have the painted brake calipers. So I went ahead and got brake pads for it, thinking, you know, okay, I know what I need. Couldn't find any that I wanted local, so we got them through Advanced Auto Parts. Let's see, yeah, both sets come from Advanced. I had to source out the sensor from O'Reilly's, but the front set came with the sensor and the kit. The back didn't. So anyway, just want to let you know the back, especially, and I'm sure it's this way on the front, but the painted versus non-painted. When you get these things at the parts store, make sure you pay attention to the caliper, if it's painted or not, because the painted brake calipers are larger and the brake pads are totally different. So we had to take those back, and I've had these things for like, I don't know, 3 months now. I'm gonna put them on. Luckily, I had went ahead and started on this one and noticed that it was wrong, so took it back, got the right one. So now 3 or 4 months later, just now putting them on. But I was bored one day, imagine that. So we just come out and decided we was gonna do some brake work. But anyway, it's the small guys. The ones that goes on the painted are about double this size. So just gonna give you a heads up. Just make sure you pay attention when you're ordering them things, or you know, if you're ordering them from Rock Auto or whatever. You don't want to spend a whole lot of time waiting on them and they get back. Then you have to spend costs shipping them back. That's another reason I bought local, is because if I screw up, I can just run them back down the road. But it does happen. I've ordered some stuff and it's been wrong on my fault. So anyway, just a heads up, keep an eye open for it. All right, so we're gonna just reverse order, put this thing back together. So just pay attention to what you're putting on. The old one with the sensor. And if you forget, like I just did, because I was talking to you guys, not paying attention. Again, I've never touched a BMW in my life on brakes. Mercedes, yes, but this is my first one, so kind of going along. Y'all have to go with me as I go, you know, learning and doing. There's where your piston pushed out on the brake pad, and that's the one that takes the sensor. So in the new kit that comes, the brake pads for the rear, you can see this has kind of got a back plate here that goes up real high, and this one does too. Now if you look at this one that goes on the outside, it's cut out right there. It doesn't have that plate, so you just know this goes to the outside, and this one's going to face the piston side with the sensor in it. So and I was going to show you guys the sensor itself. This is what it looks like. It just slides down in here, and let's look and see if we got the orientation like we're supposed to have it. So I don't know if you can see this. I was going to give you a look at kind of show you what this looks like. And these BMWs, I have never seen the brake dust so bad in my life. I mean, you can clean this thing on these black wheels and drive it 100 miles or 50 miles, and it looks like you've never washed it a day. But anyway, you got your brake pad, here's your sensor. So basically, the clean version, you're gonna see that sensor, just like this. So this thing starts to eat, and it eats down into that sensor, and then it causes the light to come on. So I can get this one out. So that's your old sensor. It just sits down in there. So the orientation is what I was looking at here to see which way we actually needed to go. And you can see here, there's a little bevel that sticks out. So that bevel is going to go out towards the pad. So our new one is going to go in just like so. So the little bevel here is where it starts eating. And as you can see, we've ate that one smooth off. So, but again, I mean, you can see we've got quite a bit of pad left. So, I mean, it's not like, and then on the computer, it tells you it's advised to go get them changed. You don't have to stop immediately, but I don't know. Something that NASA's trying to get a hold of you. You know, we're having calls about our car's extended warranty and all that good stuff. So, anyway, here we go. All right, so as you can see, we got all this back together. Like I say, I've never done one of these before. So the biggest thing I think in this is going to be just getting your wire kind of ran back like it was in these little holders. So if you have to take pictures, you know, that's okay too. That's the best advice I could give anybody is take a camera, take pictures as you're taking it apart. You remember how to put it back together. Luckily, I just, you know, I kind of was running my mouth and I kind of know, you know, where it goes or whatever, but just make sure when you put this sensor back in, I mean, you don't want it pinched. And one thing I done a while ago on camera that when I was telling you guys about it, make sure you fish that sensor back in the back side of this. So I'd actually hooked it into the brake pad and then I had to take it back out. So it has a little retaining clip, so you can just pop it back out with a screwdriver. But just make sure the orientation was like what we talked about with the, you know, in which direction the little piece needs to stick in or out. So, you know, with the little bevel I was telling you about. But when you put it back in, just make sure it's cleared all your suspension components, because, you know, as this thing articulates, you don't want anything getting pinched. But I just had to redo that one because it wasn't quite what I wanted. But it's got another mount up here on the top behind this box that I was showing you guys earlier. So, I mean, you just want to make sure everything is just out of the way of suspension components, because you don't want to do this again. And I mean, you could replace the sensor probably without taking the brakes off. I think you can get to it, but you know, I don't want to have to do that. But we're gonna put the tire back on, and then we're gonna go to the other side and do it, and then we got the front to do today too. So it's gonna be a few minutes. This one, I was hunting tools when I first started, and my man saved the day behind the camera back there. So now we're working with some good tools, and we're a little organized. And I'm sorry, you know, you guys, we've been unorganized for a while, but we had toolboxes in sheds. We've moved toolboxes. We've got portable toolboxes, and we just got tools everywhere. So, you know, digging around over here is 99% of the frustrations of what I do. So now we have some organization. This guy gave me, you know, the young generation. They're like, hey man, let's do it this way. I'm like, okay. So just be open-minded, you know, have good kids. I won't take nothing in the world for that guy. So anyway, he gave me some bright, shiny new equipment too. Man, I had to put some chrome polish on these guys with a buffing pad. But anyway, we're not going to lose anything. And, you know, part through the way, I was like, hey, this is all right. You know, stuff I don't buy myself because I don't do a lot of it. I don't really need it. But apparently these new vehicles are going this direction with all these Allen wrenches. So, you know, sticking that dude on a ratchet, man, that makes life 100 times better. So
don't fall out on your face no more.
That's right. You know, guys, when your ratchet starts getting so sloppy that it hits you, you know, on all these LS swaps we done, Craftsman, I don't knock Craftsman. Craftsman kept, you know, they did what they did for quite a while. But, and it's my fault, you know, but it's hard to get anybody to replace stuff anymore, you know, it's lifetime warranty stuff. But you're under there with a transmission bolt and that dude falls off and hits you in the face, you know. Husky, check that out. Hey, they got warranties too, you know. This guy here is the one I picked up, but you know, sometimes I use it for a hammer, and I'm gonna try to stop doing that. But use it for a hammer and use it for prying, and you know, stick cheater bars on there on a 3X drive where you probably shouldn't. If it can survive me, any of you guys out there need a good quality control guy, that's me. Because if it can tear up, I can tear it up, I promise. Cars, trucks, you name it. Tools, phones. Anyway, here we go. Since you just gave me an early Christmas present, and it made life so much easier, I'm gonna go ahead and give you one early too. Okay. And we're going with this.
Don't tell him this.
Put this out here for the guys. But what I want you to do, I want you to go, because it just come in today, and go in my closet, because she's got one that hadn't been wrapped. So not you, him. You can slip your shoes off, go in my closet. It's gonna be the white bag under the orange jacket. So, you know, this guy's trying to grow his channel, and you know, I'm proud of him. He stays out of trouble, he does good. And sometimes we're struggling with the weather and the batteries, and especially the wind. And we're going to try 2025. We're going to try some new stuff. We're going to get out there. We're going to start doing some road trips, and we're going to try to build this content on different things. Not just this car, but you know, going to these shows, meeting people, getting contacts. So we've got a lot of stuff coming up, and there's some stuff I am excited to show you guys for that guy right there. And so anyway, we'll get to that later on, but right now this guy right here is back. So the missus hadn't done her hair today, so she don't want to be on camera.
What is this?
So this should help this guy out, right? All right, guys.
What is it?
There we go.
DJI mics. Okay.
So is that gonna help you grow?
Oh yeah. We're about to get into this thing.
Okay. So look, that was your 1,000 subscribers gift to you, and like I told the people, we're gonna give them some too for helping out.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna start doing some giveaways in the near future on some. It may not be nothing but a shirt or a sticker, but we're gonna do it because we appreciate y'all. I appreciate this guy. Yep. So happy early Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
So I'm sure he's gonna go put them on charge, and we'll get back with y'all. All right, so this guy just got his one of his early Christmas presents. Hey, this guy's trying to make a job out of this, so that's why it's so important for you guys to subscribe. He's young. I kind of done had my heyday, and I'm in front of the camera, of course, but he's fit to start wrenching. I'm teaching him as we go. And I know you guys don't see a lot of that, but behind the scenes, it's kind of hard to been holding cameras and trying to get it close enough to get mics and
the wind,
get the right shots for you guys. So now with the mics, I mean, I know that's a small drop, you know, in the grand scheme of things, but you guys can actually hear what we're saying, the wind noise. And
I gotta have the camera up in your face no more.
Right, and he can kind of come over here with me now.
Yeah.
And he got the DJI
minis.
This is the minis. So, you know, this is a step in towards where he needs to be. And then the little robot that I referred to in the other videos you guys seen, I'll let him speculate on what that is. It's,
So that's actually a DJI mic, or a DJI Osmosis. I believe it's the 6 or something like that. I believe is what it is. Or maybe it's the Mobile 6 or something. But it's like a tripod, and it pivots 360 degrees around, and it's very nice. DJI quality is just extremely nice. That's why I was eager to go with them.
Yeah,
when
right
it
now
comes to mics.
I even think he may be out of frame just a little bit right this second, and we're not using it because he didn't know he had the mics today.
Yeah.
It just got in Best Buy, so you know,
That's where
early
it's at.
Christmas. We got local. We bought from Best Buy in case we had any issues. We've had, you know, no problem so far with anything we bought. But if you do, Best Buy takes it back. No problems, no questions asked. Super great customer experience there. But we're gonna get that, what he referred to. I call it a little mini robot.
Yeah, you can call it a robot.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna get him hooked up on the next few videos that we do, and that way he can get out from behind the camera
Let it
and
do the
get
work.
in the front. He can start doing some of the work.
That's right.
I can kind of give him ideas of what to do if he gets into any kind of problems, but it'll free him up so he can get out here and do what he started this channel to do.
That's
To share tips, you know, go to these car shows. And the biggest thing for me is just being with him and us spending this time together and building these things. And so anyway, that's what we're kind of shooting for. But anyway, I put the back brake on. Make a long story short, on this one we didn't pull the caliper completely off. He was rigging up these mics, so I just basically took the two studs out, the slide bracket, pull the bracket off, because you only got one sensor per, you know, the rear and one on the front. So I'm not sure on which side the sensor's on this one. I'm assuming it's probably going to be on the passenger side because this one was on the passenger side. Just guessing, it's probably on the wrong frame rail. Don't know. But since all tools are on the driver's side, we're gonna go ahead and move over there and get this off. But I did crank up just to make sure that we didn't have any kind of crazy anything going on with that parking brake, because your parking brakes primarily are on the back. You don't have any on the front, so I think we'll be okay from here on out. So we didn't run any kind of brake fluid over or whatever. So just sun's kind of getting set, so we're gonna jump over there real quick, knock that out, and then come over here. Discount Tire, y'all check them out.
You gotta go see them tomorrow.
We gotta go see them tomorrow. They just called, said tires are in, so we'll have that to do. And we got an oil change to do. Had to order the filter. Of course, I go with O'Reilly's, Wicks. I try to stay with the good stuff. Got to go pick that up, and some oil, Mobil 1. That's what we're running here. So again, this is the turbo. It's got the twin right here on the top. He can show you in a few minutes the twin power turbo. So this little dude here will scoot, and may, if we can catch it when the wifey is not checking us out, we may snatch the keys and line these things up and see what's up.
That's right.
And see if this will smoke the old truck.
That's right.
If we can get some hooking.
Mhm.
So anyway, we got a lot of things we're gonna do. We're just playing around on a lot of stuff, so y'all stay with us. All right, so problem. And I seen this on the reviews when I was reading on these brake pads. This is CarQuest brake pads. Came with new hardware, and it came with another sensor, but it's made different than what we have, which I just figured it was just a joint maybe and it would work. But after looking at it, if you look at these plugs side by side, it has a keyway in it. One's banked to the left, one's banked to the right.
There you go.
I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah. I
but
think so.
our plug up top, where this plugs into, has to have it that way. It's cut out to fit this, which in this camera view is pointing down. This one's pointing up. So that's not going to work. And, you know, that's one of those things. I read the review of somebody else doing a BMW and using this kit, which is Advanced Auto Parts. But the brake pads look okay. They look like the right stuff, and it looks like the right bolts to go in there if you use them. I just went back to what we had. There's nothing wrong with them. I put a little bit of Loctite back on them. But, and I've done this 100 times in the past, just reuse our hardware as far as bolts go. I mean, but I guess wrong when I was thinking the brake sensor was on the other side. It was on this side, so go figure. 50-50 and I lost. Dang it. But anyway, they got one down at the parts store like what we have, so I'm just going to have to...
Take it all back off.
Not necessarily take it off, but I just got to pop that sensor out. I had mentioned earlier about doing this from the outside without taking this thing loose. So you can. The clip's just inside the brake shoe, but I can pop that little dude out like that. So what we'll do, instead of taking all this back loose again, all we got to do is just go pick up a new single, and I'm gonna take this to make sure it's the right one, but we can just slide him back in when we get back and pretty much just stick it back up through there and plumb it and hook it back up. We'll be done with this side. So we got the jack on this side, so I guess we need to just check out, run down. We hadn't ate lunch. I don't know what time it is, but anyway, I guess we'll run down and grab the right parts. Hopefully they have them down at the one that's closest to us, and we won't have to go all the way into Bruton. But I do have to go up there and get oil, but we got an appointment tomorrow at 1 o'clock for this dude, so I really need to get back and get that in. The oil change can actually wait and be done after I get back tomorrow from the tires, but it'll take 20 minutes to change oil. But I really need to get this on and get the other side on. I don't want the computer going, oh, well, the left side is replaced, but the right side still sucks. So, I don't know, but we're going to get it fixed. But hey, this is all part of wrenching, y'all. You're gonna get it right sometimes, and sometimes you're not, especially something you've never done before. Going forward, I'll know this from now on to check this kind of thing, but I will be leaving a review on Advanced Auto Parts. Shame on you. You say it's for a 22. What kind of crap is this? Come on, y'all. Like, just, man, get it right. That'll be dark when we get back.
Yep.
So anyway, all right, well, we may catch y'all up when we get back. If not, we'll give you the final, you know, breakdown. But I mean, pretty much this is it. You see what it is. I mean, we just used our little tool up here on the front. We don't have to worry about the brakes like the back with the Torx and all that jazz with the parking brake. So you just set your brake pad up here against this. You just back that piston in, and then, I mean, you can take the whole caliper off. You seen what I done here, just took this bracket off and slid it out. It's a little bit easier to work with doing it that way. It's, you know, whatever you prefer. So I done the back one and the time he went in to do the speaker, so probably won't bore you with the other side. You get the gist of it anyway. So just wanted to show you guys the main thing is the back, because I think BMW wants like $1,000 or something crazy just to do this, to put brake pads on and hook their computer up. But I did check inside, and there's no anything. All it's saying is the front brakes need changing, but I don't think we'll have any kind of issues with it. But all right, we're supposed to go to town. We appreciate y'all. Y'all please continue to watch, and if you got any comments on anything we're doing, we take them, good, bad, ugly, otherwise. So You know, you kind of let the bad ones roll off your back like water on a duck's back. So it is what it is. Some guys actually give some good advice. Some give some not so good advice, but you know, you just gonna have to take the good with the bad. So if y'all got anything, we look at the comments, and you know, we may take you up on it, on what you got to offer. So I don't know all by no means, and without the old interweb, we would be in a bad situation sometimes. So y'all subscribe if you haven't already, please. We appreciate you. Like I say, we're gonna try our best to get that website up running here in the next maybe month or so. We got some stuff, some shirts and different things. I know y'all seen them on the channel. We wore the black one, the white one. We got a new one for the 63 we had made, and we got some hoodies, and we're gonna be doing some hats. So gonna make some stickers. Working on the logo, so we got to get a watermark. Like I say, this is brand new, guys. We were building this from the ground up. So this guy behind the camera is going to be putting all that stuff out. He'll be the one responsible for the web page and all that good stuff. I'm going to help make the web page. That's kind of what I do. But anyway, we're going to try to get y'all some good content. So we appreciate you again. Just hit that button. Thank y'all.